What's up, YouTubers? It's Animation at 27 back with you in another video, and today will be the first episode of Animation Talk, which will be the one where I talk about cartoons and stuff like fully animated properties. And for our first animation talk, we're going to be talking about a legendary series featuring two iconic characters. And it's kind of nice to do this review now since these two will be turning 80 years old next month in February. I think we all know who it is, though. No, it's not the Flintstones, though they get an anniversary this year. It's not Charlie Brown and the Peanuts game. That's their anniversary later on. It's the first characters created by Hanna-Barbera themselves, Tom and Jerry. Animation Nerd 27 is reviewing Tom and Jerry. He's reviewing Tom and Jerry. Tom and Jerry, looking back at the legendary duo of Tom and Jerry. Now, Tom and Jerry is a legendary series, debuting back on February 10th, 1940 with the short Puss Gets the Boot. Tom and Jerry have been around for literally 8 decades straight and have been entertaining kids for literally 8 whole decades with their violence, their slapstick, and their great characters. Now, Tom and Jerry have become legendary characters, seriously. They're right up there with Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, Goofy, Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, and Porky Pig as some of the most beloved cartoon characters of all time. In fact, they're the third most used short film series of the Golden Age after the Looney Tunes and the Disney cartoons franchise. Of course, all three of these are the most popular of the Golden Age as they've been around a lot more longer. Unlike, say, characters like Popeye, Woody Woodpecker, or Betty Boop, or Felix the Cat, who are barely around anymore. But we'll get to those characters later. But yeah, Tom and Jerry have been around. Though like the Looney Tunes, they're not as big as they used to be. They're still around. There's still merchandise with them, and they still air their cartoons. But compared to Mickey in the game, they haven't been around as much. I hope we get a new Tom and Jerry movie, which we actually are. The live-action 2020 film coming out later this year. I'm just a little worried because y'all know live action and me don't mix when it's based on a cartoon. And we got Tom and Jerry. Oh no, a CG photorealistic Tom and Jerry? Whoa. Though I heard that Tom and Jerry will not be talking like the 1992 film, so that's a positive. So we'll keep them silent. But anyway, what do I think of Tom and Jerry? Well, I freaking love it. If you saw my 30 Greatest Cartoons video, you saw that Tom and Jerry was number 29 on my list. It's one of my favorite cartoons of all time. It was one of my childhood favorites as a kid. I used to watch it every day on Boomerang and Cartoon Network whenever they air their marathons. I got a lot of the DVDs. I used to watch all the direct-to-video movies. I even saw that 90s film, you know, the musical that featured Tom and Jerry talking with voices by Richard Kind and the late Dana Hill. Yeah, I used to watch that movie a lot. I haven't seen it in years, but I know it's not going to be as good as I remember it. So yeah, Tom and Jerry have been around for years. But yeah, if y'all did not know this, Tom and Jerry were created by William Hanna and Joseph Barbera, the same people that founded Hanna-Barbera Studios. You know, the studio that brought us the Smurfs, Yogi Bear, Huckleberry Hound, Snagglepuss, Quick Draw McGraw, Top Cat, Wacky Races, Johnny Quest, the Flintstones, the Jetsons, and the one and only Scooby-Doo, and many more. That many more meant like the other Hanna-Barbera shows, not the title of Scooby-Doo. But yeah, Hanna-Barbera made Tom and Jerry, which is weird because it was technically an MGM cartoon. So if you count Tom and Jerry, it's technically both an MGM and a Hanna-Barbera cartoon. Because while it was made at MGM, it was created by Hanna-Barbera themselves. So it's technically both an MGM and a Hanna-Barbera cartoon. It's kind of nice. It's by two different studios, MGM and Hanna-Barbera. So it's technically both their cartoons at the same time. But yeah, Tom and Jerry, man, are legendary. Seriously. They have become legendary characters. Just look at one scene right here. Now, Tom and Jerry were not the only popular characters at MGM. Of course, they had other characters like Droopy, Screwy Squirrel, and Barney Bear, but those guys are not as popular as, say, Tom and Jerry. Although Droopy has become a beloved icon of animation, and he has appeared in a lot of the Tom and Jerry projects and stuff. But yeah, I'll get to those guys later. But Tom and Jerry was the most popular cartoon series from MGM. It was their most popular cartoon series. Now, Tom and Jerry isn't perfect. I mean, there is one thing that, let's face it. Hold up.
Made to order, made to fit your budget. That's fresh value.
Yeah, there is one thing, though, that many people might not like about Tom and Jerry. Let me sidetrack that. Tom and Jerry, though, it came out in the golden age of animation. And, of course, there are some characters that from Tom and Jerry that have not been around anymore. For example, this woman right here. Know who that is? That is Mammy Two Shoes. Now, Mammy Two Shoes is one of the old recurring Tom and Jerry characters. She was the housemaid that Tom and Jerry lived in. She always used to threaten Tommy that if he never got Jerry, he'd be kicked out of the house. And he usually did get kicked out of the house. And, of course, if you all know, she's pretty much a African-American woman. Yeah, this was back in during the segregation time. Back when African-Americans were not treated as well as, say, Caucasian people, which is like white people. But yeah, at the time, cartoons got away with a lot of stereotypes and racist humor that, let's face it, would not fly today in a modern society. And a lot of those racist cartoons with those iconic characters, a lot of them have usually been banned and are never released on DVD or on TV. And Mammy Two Shoes was one of those subjects. Heck, in the television airings of Tom and Jerry back in the 60s and 70s, they actually redesigned Mammy Two Shoes as a Caucasian woman. However, they did bring her back later on, but this time though, they gave her a new voice actress. But yeah, Mammy Two Shoes, if you don't think about it, Mammy Two Shoes was technically one of the first recurring African-American characters, along with Bosco and Honey, who were the first stars of the Looney Tunes, but we'll get to those when we review the Looney Tunes. But yeah, with those two along, she was one of the first recurring African-American characters in a cartoon. However, she isn't as popular as, say, the Proud Family, Cleveland, the Freeman Family, or Fat Albert. But I personally like Mammy Two Shoes. She's very funny. Her reactions at times, like, I always like the reaction she has at the time, like, "Hey, you, have you seen a no good cat around here?" That's the best Mammy Two Shoes voice I can do. Look.
And when I say out, Jasper, I mean out. O-U-T, out.
Now that was a scene from the first short, Puss Gets the Boot, which is the one that started off Tom and Jerry. However, in this short alone, they were actually called Jasper and Jinx. Tom was named Jasper, and Jerry was named Jinx. However, for their second short, they renamed them to Tom and Jerry. Now, Tom and Jerry, of course, the shorts ran from 1940 to, I think, 1967. However, the shorts of the 60s were made by Gene Delch and famed Looney Tunes director Chuck Jones. However, a lot of those shorts have been hated by fans alike, saying they're not as good as the ones from Hanna-Barbera. Now, I did watch a lot of those shorts as a kid, and I have to say they're good. Not as good as the Hanna-Barbera ones, but they're pretty good. Some of them might be some of my favorite Tom and Jerry shorts. I mean, Gene Deitch. Actually, it meant Gene Deitch. I'll show you one page of each of them. This is the Gene Deitch shorts. If you can tell, the animation looks a little more limited. It looks more like basic television animation at the time, where it was a more limited style. And this is the Chuck Jones version. But yeah, that's pretty much Tom and Jerry right there. Now, if I had to pick my favorite characters, it'd definitely be the main two themselves, but my favorite out of the two would have to be Tom. Because, I'm sorry, I'm going to say this right now. As a kid, I always felt bad for Tom. When I was a kid, I actually always rooted for Tom. I always wanted him to actually capture Jerry. But since, you know, this was a Golden Age cartoon, and if y'all know the laws, if you were a predator in the Golden Age cartoons, then you were not going to win, while your prey was pretty much going to be the hero of the picture. Seriously, Warner Brothers and, of course, Disney did this trope as well. And speaking of which, Tom and Jerry became popular so much that they inspired the other two to do their own characters as well. For example, Disney added in Chip and Dale, who later became arch rivals to both Pluto and Donald. And, of course, Warner Brothers had Sylvester and Tweety, and Roadrunner and Wile Coyote, who have become just as iconic as Tom and Jerry. And of course, Chip and Dale have become iconic as well. But yeah, before we had Chip and Dale with Donald and Pluto, Sylvester and Tweety, and Roadrunner and Wile Coyote, there was Tom and Jerry, who were the original chasing duo. That's why they call it the greatest cat and mouse duo of all time. And those shorts were violent. Like, think about it. The Tom and Jerry shorts were violent. Like, they were really violent. Heck, I'll show you one right now. I'll show you how violent they were. Although on one positive, though, I have to say this. I like how, unlike the other two big short film series at the time, Tom and Jerry did not talk. Like, they never once spoke in any of the cartoons. Although, actually, there were a couple of shorts where they did have verbal dialogue, but that was only like one or two or five shorts. Most of the times, they would usually just make these sounds like this. That was Jerry's laugh, and this is the Tom yell, one of the best yells in animation. Come on, let's face it, the Tom yell, one of the best yells in animation. Come on. And those were actually done by William Hanna. Now, the other characters of Tom and Jerry did talk, like Spike the Bulldog, Butch, Yankee Doodle, the little baby duckling, Nibbles, Mammy Two Shoes, and stuff. Those characters talk well, except for Tyke, Spike's son, who was pretty much silent. But everyone else pretty much talked. And an interesting fact, Spike was actually played by two different actors. In the original shorts from the 40s, he was played by Billy Bletcher, who of course y'all know was the OG voice actor of Pete from the Disney cartoons. And then he was later played by Doss Butler in the 50s cartoons. And of course, if y'all know Doss Butler, he was pretty much the voice of Quick Draw McGraw, Snagglepuss, Huckleberry Hound, and of course, Yogi Bear! Hey, boo-boo! But yeah, definitely but that's pretty much it for Tom and Jerry. I freaking love Tom and Jerry, and I just want to wish them happy 80th anniversary. And I might see the live-action movie, I don't know. Unless the trailer makes it look bad, then I won't see it, but maybe I'll check it out, because I'm sorry, it's Tom and Jerry. Anything with Tom and Jerry in it, I'm going to rush. I'm sorry. Even if it's going to be bad, it has Tom and Jerry in it, I got to go see it. I'm sorry. But anyway, that's pretty much it for my review of Tom and Jerry. I want to say thanks for watching, folks, and I'll see you later. And Happy 80th anniversary, Tom and Jerry. And also happy birthday as well.